Hey everybody, my next guest is the wonderful host of Crissy O's Clucky Chronicles, your COOP-TASTIC corner of the internet where feathered fun and EGG-CELLENT storytelling are combined. Here you'll find tales of Crissy O's flock of fabulous fowl, each with their own quirks, clucks, and clucking amazing adventures. Here she is to tell us all about it is the one and only Crissy O. Crissy, what's up? How you doing?
Dude, I'm so you got that out in just flawlessly. I messed that up my own self and I wrote it.
I love it. I love what you're doing. I love the whole Crissy O's Clucky Chronicle universe you've created on this farm. It looks amazing. It looks like so much fun.
It is to join us sometime. We need to do a live from the farm.
I would love to do that. I would love to do that because I actually visit North Carolina. I'm back in New York. I've been back in New York for a while, and I visit North Carolina about 4 or 5 times a year because all my kids are all adult children. They all stayed there. They stayed in North Carolina. They didn't want to come back here. They love it in North Carolina, as do I.
Yeah.
But I came back, and the last time I saw you, so everyone knows that I know Crissy O. I was on. You had a podcast before podcasts were fashionable, before everyone had one.
Yeah.
And this is about 10 years ago or so, I want to say.
Yeah.
In Zebulon, but I think were you in Wilson? Where were you?
I was in Wilson. We had a family studio that was there at Wilson, and I was on Ameriplan Talk Radio, and I was on Jam City America Radio, and they were dabbling in podcasts. So I was on the pilot program for that before iHeart and all that took off.
Yeah. Yeah, you were one of the OGs. So I remember I was working with the Carolina Mudcats out in Zebulon, and we connected with you, and then we ended up doing your podcast, and it was a lot of fun. We went all the way to Wilson. You had a cool studio space there. It looks like a lot of musicians and things along those lines, like a recording studio almost, essentially.
Yeah, it was.
So what has happened since then in the last 10 years?
A lot has happened. So I don't know if you remember my sister or not, Melanie, who was with me. So shortly after that, she became extremely ill. She got 2 different forms of terminal blood cancer.
Oh, wow.
Ended up passing away in 2017.
Oh, God bless.
So lost her at 52, at the young age of 52.
Wow, yeah.
It was horrible. So that kind of put me in a complete tizzy, because we had the family studio, we had everything. So now all of that was left to me because, we used to do music therapy. So not only were we musicians and singers and we toured with our band and we recorded at the studio and all that stuff and wrote songs and blah, blah, blah. Now it was just down to oh my God, she was, the center of everything. So now she's gone. So everything got placed on me, and I was only used to doing what I did. I was always the front person on the stage,
Right.
I did all that stuff, and she kind of wanted to stay a little bit more behind the scenes. So now I'm like, what the heck do I do? So that totally put me in a tailspin. So I had to absorb all of her music students, all of my music students, and try to keep the nonprofit at the time, Don't Call Me Strange, going. And
right.
All the families with special needs, because that's where our heart was, because I have children that are special needs too.
Right.
And it was a lot. It was a lot. And to bring things a little bit more forward about during the 2020 event, you know what I mean? All of the chaos.
Yes.
People just lost their ever-loving mind. They literally did. I'm talking family, friends, people who you thought was family, people who you thought were friends. They literally went off the deep end, and it caused a lot of strain and struggle. Then the economy was just completely screwed up and everything, and it made it really difficult for me. And my boys were helping, as much as they could. They were helping all that stuff. And it just got too much. Things just did not go well. I ended up losing the studio.
Oh, wow.
Don't have that anymore.
Was that
So
before the 2020 or
after,
also
after,
so you that's
after,
kind of recent. Oh, sorry to hear that. Yeah.
so I haven't had the studio in almost 2 years now. So I haven't had any of that. And I was just forced to make some decisions that you never think when your things are kind of rolling and going pretty good that, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to stop this. No, I literally came to a complete dead halt. So there was no more radio show because the guy that ran it, he sold all his stuff out partly to some bigger franchise corporations and stuff. And at the time, I think both mentally I couldn't handle it. Plus, the my grandmother who raised me is basically my mama, my little
Right,
mama,
right.
sick at 93 and passed away.
Oh, wow.
And like within the span of that whole time, I lost my sister, lost my little mama, lost the studio, lost the whole entire everything. And people that you think you're going to be able to keep, you don't. So
Right,
it was just a kick in the noggin. So I was like, screw this, I'm going home.
right. Yeah. It's it's very tough going through loss like that.
It
And
is.
and on top of it you go through the 2020 debacle with the COVID era and people in panic mode and then politics is raised up so you might lose people because of that, whatever side you're on. It was
Yeah.
just a really weird time period, and to go through that and then to lose the studio, which was I could imagine you were going through some major tribulations, like some major like real hard times. Um, but knowing you and just your vibe, very positive person. So how was it when you go through things like that? Just so maybe you can inspire others. How do you keep a positive outlook on things when everything seems to be going wrong?
Well, it's hard for people, even people like me, who just I try to help as many people as I can, and I try to help everybody else, and kind of put myself on the back burner, so to speak. So, I mean, you have literally two choices. You can completely give up and do absolutely nothing, or you can say, okay, so this is the crap sandwich I got handed to me, and I've got to put whatever I can put on it to make it smell better at the time until you can scrape that crap off, get you a new piece of bread, and start making you a new sandwich.
Right. That's a great way to look at it. You gotta clean off the crap off that sandwich and make it somehow make it delicious.
That's the way my redneck brain works.
I think that's an awesome, way to view it, because we all go through ups and downs in our life, right? Everyone's life, we all have our good and bad and ugly, and sometimes when it works both ways. Sometimes when the good things happen, it seems to all happen in one after the other, which is great. But the same thing happens when things go awry or go wrong or go tragic. It seems to be one after the other.
Yeah.
And I could imagine the struggle that must have ensued both and taxed on you. Um, so you said now it was time to go back home. So where was that? Where do
So
you?
I'm still in Eastern North Carolina. So even though the business and everything was in Wilson, which is, obviously closed, I moved back, everything that I needed to do needed to be at home. So after talking over everything with my hubby, who was just as like, what the heck's happening now, as I was.
Right.
I'm in Eastern North Carolina. I'm in Johnston County.
Okay. Yeah.
That's home for me. We
Yeah.
call it JOCO for those who know, you know, WTJC, welcome to Johnston County. It's like a whole nother world here. I'm like, might as well. I mean, the band, I had to disband, and I had to disband the band, so they did no longer have jobs. They had to find jobs other places. And then I thought, we are sitting here on a beautiful 12 and a half acres of wooded property. And growing up, my folks were tenant farmers because we grew up poorer than church mouses. We were very poor, but we worked hard. And I just took all that and decided, you know what, much to my husband's chagrin, yep, we're going to get some animals. That's how you do it.
There you go. That's always the solution, right? You just get some animals, provide some love.
Yeah, definitely. And, the good thing about having chickens, ducks, and quails, which is what we raise right now, is I could literally order a giraffe from Amazon, and my husband will be like, "This is highly inconvenient, honey, but let me build you a pen."
That's awesome. Props to your husband and major kudos to him for supporting you and all your endeavors. And if you wanted to bring home a giraffe, he'll build a pen for it. That's one heck of a guy.
Yeah, I mean, and we hatch our own here, so we hatch, we raise, we sell bob white quail to people who want them, need them, or whatever. And we also sell fertilized eggs for folks, and I just like to showcase off my animals here on the farm because they have better personality some days than I do, and it's fun because I talk to them like they're my children, and I swear they understand what I'm saying. Maybe not, but
They
you know,
might.
funny.
So I know you have lots of chickens.
Yeah.
What other animals are on the farm?
So right now we're doing egg laying hens and chickens, and we have the angry rooster pen. They're always angry. I have Bob White quail. They're pretty popular, especially for this area. And I have a variety of ducks. Soon I will be hatching and raising my own guinea geeks, my guinea quails, and I have not told the hubby yet, but we'll be getting turkeys.
Nice. I live on the eastern side of of Long Island now. And out here is like the country. It's not like New York, like you would think. There's lots of vineyards and farms out here, and I have wild turkeys that walk past my window every day, like little tribes of them, big ones. Like I get hungry when I see them walk by, and I'm just kidding.
One and mail it to me.
Yeah, maybe I could do that. Yeah. So, is this? You said you already had kind of farming in your blood before this, or so when
Yeah.
you moved, was that the intention, or like when you said, "All right, you know what, we got to pack up and leave Wilson. We're going to Joco. We're gonna start. I'm just gonna do a farm," or did it slowly progress?
It kind of started like that because I had been thinking about chickens, ducks, and quails and those types of things for a while. And my oldest son, he was born with traumatic brain injury from birth, and he's autistic. You may have met him a time or two.
Yeah,
I know
I met him.
I know Muddy the Mud Cat. I don't want to spoil any of that. When he would come to the studio and change and go over to the whirligig festivals and things like that.
Yes, yes.
Studio, I think he met him a couple of times. He does very well with animals. So it was kind of twofold. It was kind of like we might make money off of this deal, we might not, but at least I won't have I don't have to deal with any attitudes or political divisiveness or any other kind of crap because they don't care as long as you've got snackies and they get fed and you go out and pet them on the noggin and tell them they're good boys and girls or tell them that, hey, you're a crackhead today. They don't care.
Exactly, and they'll always be there tomorrow and be happy to see you.
Unconditional love, basically, I think. So it was twofold. I had originally thought, when you lose something like that, um, and you've been doing it your whole entire life, like I was, that's all I knew. I mean, my little mama, she raised us to tour. She was the queen of Southern gospel music in 1987. So all I knew was touring bands, playing music. That was my livelihood. That's how I made my money and writing music and songs and stuff and teaching other people. So that's how I made my money. And then when you lose all that, you're like, oh gosh, what the heck now? So it turned into kind of a niche little thing. Like, Well, I grew up, we had chickens and we had ducks, and I can remember collecting eggs and doing stuff. And my other set of grandparents that I was really close to, they were produce farmers. So I was exposed to both sides. One set of grandparents did like tobacco farming, and the other one did like produce farming and had some chickens and some pigs and things like that. So I'm like, yeah, my ancestors are screaming to me, let's just do this and see how it goes.
I love it. I love what you're doing and how you've responded to tough times and how you've turned it into a positive. And I think that says a lot about you and who you are and your positive outlook. But also you were able to take the two sides of your family, so to speak. So you got the one entertainment side is gospel singing and musicians and all this and entertainment, and then your other side, which is the farming and all of that, and you merge the two, and it's off to a very successful run here. You got a podcast that you do, um, and it's a lot of fun to watch it, and it's also a learning too, because you not only is it entertaining, but you're teaching people about farm life, raising how to raise chickens, how to raise roosters, how to deal with those angry roosters, and so the Crissy O's Clucky Chronicles. When and how did that kind of manifest and start? How would you get that going?
Well, it's like if you have dogs or cats, I'm a dog person because I'm allergic to cats. But when you have like a pet at home, you talk to the pet. You're like, hey, you're the coolest little buddy ever. Those types of things. You get really super attached to your animals. And I've always been attracted and attached to animals of all different types, except for snakes, because I'm deathly afraid of snakes. I don't care what kind of snake it is. I'm just like, uh, I would probably be the first to die from getting like bit by a green snake. You know,
Yeah, yeah, I
that
understand.
right. So, and I've always loved taking my kids to other farms and zoos and places like that. It's just super interesting to me, and I've always wanted to learn about it. So I thought, well, heck, why not teach other people and kind of they all have their individual personalities. Let's name them after people in my family or people in my family who've passed or friends that we like, and see what happens. Basically, just see what happens. Who knew? It was like a little niche little thing. And I had dabbled in YouTube a little bit before, but not on like this kind of extent of things. It's a learning curve, let me tell you. Big learning curve. I can, do talks all day long, but YouTube, it's kind of like, dang, I've got to create something that people will be interested in. That's hard because it's not like what you do, because I love watching your shows. You have so many cool people on there, and just listening to the conversations and stuff that you have on your show, I'm like, dang. I mean, that's great, like for you, but I couldn't do that with animals.
Right.
So
Yeah, you
I
have to.
teach like myself, like, okay, how do I do this so that people will understand what I'm talking about, and how can I teach them, but do it in a way that's entertaining and educational, kind of blend the two together. That's been the hardest thing, to learn. So I couldn't go on a script. I could not. I tried that. I was like,
Yeah.
I felt like
Yeah, I think you have to be you. Definitely have to be yourself, and I think that's what shines through. I think when people watch you, they want the authentic Crissy O. That's what makes you you. That's what makes you so awesome.
we're all here to help you with your chicken answers, quail questions, farm animal questions, just some fun stuff.
And
It just happened, dude. It really just happened. I've got roosters named Nana Roo. I have roosters named Carolyn, because and when you're learning these things, you're like, are you a hen or a rooster? What are you? And then you stick them with this name, right? So then you end up with a rooster named Heather that hates you.
yeah, they don't.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
that's what it is.
And it seems like nowadays too, especially after the we, you know, the I feel like people. out here on Long Island and all over the United States have started to have their own chickens and have their own coops in their yard. I feel like it's been really kind of growing that a lot of people doing that. So a lot of people that are starting out might want to get your advice and learn from you about the best methods to raise chickens, how to talk to them, hey, how to, get the best out of the chickens, how to get the eggs and all the basics. I think when you're doing it from such an entertaining point of view and actually giving these chickens personalities and things, I think definitely is inspiring and could be influential. Um, what do you think about that? Like the kind of the growing of people with their own chicken coops these days. Is this good, or do people have to be careful, or what's your thoughts on that?
I think it's a good thing because I think naturally, if you look back over throughout history and throughout time, and I've talked about those things before on educational parts. Chickens have been around for thousands and thousands of years. They were the jungle fowl. That's how it started. And you progress throughout time. You think about all the other animals that have lasted, but the animal that feeds us is the chicken. So whether you make it a pet or you make it something that you can eat, you're still going to end up with the chicken. And not only that, but I think a lot of it had to do with, and it doesn't matter which side of the political aisles we're on. I'm not a divisive person. I'm all about free belief, free speech, free whatever you want to do. That's your personality, your opinion, and my
Right.
opinion. With all that, not everybody is, but I'm okay with it. I don't care. You be you, I be me. That's how it goes.
Exactly.
So I think when the whole 2020 debacle thing kind of happened and you couldn't get certain types of food and you couldn't get fresh things and you couldn't get your supplies and you couldn't get stuff, the whole homesteading, farmsteading thing, people started researching into that. And I think not having stuff that you're used to being able to go get it, but now you're having to stand in a line.
Right. Yeah.
You can't get it, it's locked up, or if you get it, it's not good quality or it's not good stuff. So I think it pushes people back to maybe some old roots that they didn't know they had inside of them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Pushes you back a little bit, not Neanderthal way, but like, hey, I can do this. So having backyard chickens and ducks and just any type of poultry or fowl or anything like that, I think it really made people stop and think like, hey, what if something crazy like this happens again? How am I going to eat? How
Right.
am I going to take little junior Cluck Norris in the backyard if I'm hungry enough? Is he going to be in my pastry?
Right. Right. Yeah.
You might love them, but you love to eat more.
True indeed. Yeah. It's I do think that that time period, definitely going through the COVID era and all that. I feel like a lot of people, because we were all kind of locked down for a long time, like a year or so, felt like. But and people were learning, teaching themselves how to farm, and they were getting chickens and all that stuff, and creating their own eggs and their own resources, gardening more. Also,
Mhm.
like a lot of people were baking their own bread from scratch, and there was like all these trends that were happening of people kind of going back to almost like those pioneer era days where we're just self-reliant. We don't need the grocery stores. We don't want to depend on all these people. I think that's the way a lot of us we really should be,
Yep.
because we see what happens when you rely on the system and it
True.
fails us. Then
You're right.
what?
And I teach people online too, how to can old recipes because when you grow up with you both set of grandparents like I did, and both of my grannies were some of the most fantastic cooks. You'd probably have a heart attack, stroke, and dead by now if you ate all their food. Where you child might not be. You know what I'm saying? So, or at least at the best, you'd have a pacemaker or something. You know what I'm?
But I would be happy and good eating.
Yeah. So I still cook the old fashioned way. I don't know how to cook all this fancy mess that these folks do. And it was funny when my husband was working before he retired from his state job and everything. The guys would come over and we would feed them. They would eat, and I mean, there would be like nothing left. Dang, I cooked a lot. These have bottomless pits, but then their wives, it was funny because their wives couldn't cook. A lot of wives couldn't cook. They couldn't do nothing. So I ended up with 2 or 3 of them coming over here, me showing them how to do stuff because I can. I can stuff. I make my jams. I make my jellies. I make my own homemade apple cider vinegar. And the next time you get the chance to come down, if you let me know ahead of time, I'll make sure you get a basket full of stuff to take back with you.
Oh wow. All right. Yeah,
So, yeah.
that would be amazing. I'll definitely yeah, I would love to come down and just check out the farm and everything too, like over there in good old Joko and see what you got going over there. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think people should know how to can their own food, their own goods and preserve them and you know, be able to sustain on their own.
Yeah. They really should. They really should. And it's not, it's, I think, because we've gotten so used to living and being in a microwave society, 30 seconds or less.
True.
I think that that kind of spoils people a lot because we get caught up in the daily things. And that was guilty on me too, because I realized making that transition when you're touring, you're working and you're doing stuff and you're, you know, singing, you're a musician, you're doing all this stuff, doing all these things. And then all of a sudden it's gone, it's ripped away. So all the fast food stuff becomes like, I'm saving money now because I'm not going to McDonald's anymore to do XYZ. I'm not stopping at these places or restaurants and stuff, eating it because I know what's in my food because I'm cooking it at home. And I'll pack up lunches and pack up stuff and whatever. I mean, right now, I kind of almost have to run my household like, you know, I turned 50 this year, if that tells you
God
anything.
bless. You look great.
Good
Yeah.
Lord. My joints don't feel good, but whatever. You know, I'm still making it.
There you go.
WD-40 or something. I don't know. But, you know, being raised in the 70s and the 80s, which were great eras in time, you know, I think I kind of went back there a little bit, you know, like kind of used to all of that stuff that we used to do back in the 70s and 80s. Because if you think about it, going to McDonald's, Burger King, those fast food places, that was just a rare treat. I
That's
never
true.
did any of that. So I'm like, I can my food, not all of it, but I can the majority of it. And, you know, I do everything that I can for my family because I know what I did to it and I know what I put in it.
Right, exactly. You know what you're getting. Right.
I ain't got to worry about it. And I'm not got to worry about, am I going to get E. coli from eating this hamburger because Jimmy John in the back didn't wash his hands when he went to the bathroom.
Right. So true. Yeah, you know exactly the origins of it, where it came from. You grew it, made it, you know, and cooked it and prepared it and served it. So you know exactly what's on the table.
It's safe, you know, it's safe and it's a safe way of eating. And you got to think about it. Our grandparents and all them, they ate like that forever. There weren't no fast food places. There wasn't no, what you call this DoorDash stuff. Honey, I don't even
Right.
know what that is. I've never done that a day in my life. I DoorDash is. I'm like, I think of DoorDash, I'm thinking, is there a farce somewhere I got to run? What the heck? I mean, all this stuff. I'm like, no, I don't do any of that. Like you won't. I tell my boys, they're 25, 22, and 18. I tell my boys, I cook it, they eat it. If they don't want it, good luck.
That's it. That's exactly how we grew up. That's how my parents were with me. And
Yeah,
yeah, there was no choices or options or DoorDash or oh, okay, I don't want what mom's making. I'm gonna DoorDash McDonald's or no, there was none of that back then.
yeah.
You
And
eat
could
what you
you
get.
imagine you telling your mama that she'd have knocked you on the head with a wooden spoon?
Exactly. Exactly. We got to get those days back somehow, but I don't know if we ever can.
I don't know. People are so kind of wimpy and kind of. I don't know what they are now. My boys will even flinch to this day. If I got to take my flip flop off, somebody's getting smacked. You know what I'm
There you go. That's how you have to be. That's good old
saying?
parenting right there.
Yeah, and I think with and it's not so much as being, oh, you're just being old fashioned. I don't think it's so much of that. I think it's just being more responsible and more aware of
Yes.
what, we went through it once and it lasted a long time. I don't want to do that no more. And I want to be able to go into my pantry, open the door, and say, okay, we've got a variety of foods that's canned, that's safe, that's freeze dried, that's whatever in here that I know that I can make it for my folks. God forbid anything else happen like that again. I hope it never does.
Yeah,
But
same here.
you never know, and it's not being panic prepared, or what do you call these crazy
Like
folks that
prepper, like a prepper.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, not to the extreme, but just enough to where you know how to do it, you do it safely, you got stuff just in case something happens, and you're not hoarding 40,000 rolls of toilet paper.
Exactly. I think that's a beautiful thing, and it's kind of crazy that we're in the point of the world where, or at least here in America, where people don't have those skills anymore. They've lost
They
those skills.
they don't. I mean, you can cook, right? You can cook.
Yeah, yeah, I could cook. I'm a pretty self-sufficient guy, I think.
Yeah, you can cook. And see, the thing of it is I taught my boys how to cook too. And I have little recipe charts and little things here. Like, it's so funny because me and my husband we had our 25th wedding anniversary last year in September.
Ah, excellent. Congratulations.
Boys, y'all are on your own. Don't burn my house down. Simple. Don't kill my animals. Don't burn the house down. Do what you normally do with you, whatever. And my 22-year-old who likes to cook, he says, can you leave me some of them recipes? I'm like, what kind of recipes you want? Well, you're thinking maybe burgers or hot dogs. No, my boys want to know, Mama, how do you do your barbecue chicken? Mama,
Right.
how do you do that smoked ham? Mama, those types of
Nice. That's yeah.
make chicken pastry, how you make biscuits, that kind of thing. So you take the time out to teach them, they learn, and then they know because I don't know. I mean, the way things are going now, you got kids that can't turn on the darn stove.
It's true. It's true. I think everyone should know how to survive on their own, even if it's just learning how to cook or just the basics, of life. People,
Yeah.
and that's something that the kids today take for granted because they have everything given to them at the on an app.
Yeah.
On their phone. They just click an app and then it comes, and they don't have any idea how or why. They just know that some guy drops it off and then they leave and then they could eat. They don't realize.
McDonald's money or tip money for these door dashing people. No, I save my money for other things that I want to do, and it adds up over time because in what I spend in grocery material saves me so much more money a month. Not going to eat, not only making those special occasions and stuff, and me and my family, you can probably tell behind us. I love Disney. I love going to the parks. I know people are,
Right.
hey, God, not another Disney adult. Well, you do you, boo, but I'm scared to get on a cruise. I
Yeah.
don't get sick. All these cruise ships, all this water on the cruise boats, these people fighting and all this stuff. I'm too old to fight. No. Mm-mm. I bet, no, if I was in my 20s, I'd probably throw a chair and hit you in the head if I needed to, but I ain't joining that mess. Just
Yeah.
the parks, we play by the pool, we rest, we go to eat, we do all kinds of stuff. I people watch. You learn a lot people watching. I just have a good time, and that's my extra money right there, is to go wherever I want to go.
There you go. Now, when you people watch, right? Do you see similarities people and chicken like culture? Like a chicken similar to like is the same behaviors?
Thing, it's not much different. It's not. It's not much different, to be honest with you. I can tell somebody, like, it was so funny. We never see anybody we know when we go out to Florida or Disney. I mean, my husband has family out there in Florida, but you can tell. This one guy, he had, how they have the QR codes on the back of shirts.
Yeah, yeah.
Out of curiosity, me, I'm just like, oh, let me see what this is. And my husband's like, I hope that's nothing nasty. Don't be looking at nothing. You don't know what these people's got on their clothes.
Right.
Clicking this little thing here, and it popped up, and darn if he didn't have a llama farm.
Oh wow. See that?
Yeah. So it's like I can sniff them out. Oh, you got a llama farm. And my husband's like going, we ain't getting no llama. Well, no, we can't have no llamas. You don't need a llama. No, we don't need a llama. I'm like, okay, all right. We ain't get, not today. We won't get one. But I just made friends with Billy Bob in front of me on the ferry boat to Magic Kingdom.
That's hilarious.
You know? So it's a good culture to be around, because when you're around a bunch of farmers and farming people, farmsteaders, homesteaders, and people that deal with animals and, different types of things, whether you raise them for meat or you raise them for the eggs or you just raise them, whatever it is you do. It's a really good culture to be around, because you learn a lot of stuff. Because they're learning while they're doing it. I'm learning while I'm doing it. And it's a great little community to be a part of, because we're happy to teach anybody. We're happy to help anybody. But it's fun.
Exactly. That's the thing. And it's fun, and that fun is contagious. Like, even when I watch your podcast, I'm like, I want to get a coop, and start raising some chickens of my own and have the eggs and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then maybe even a llama. Who knows? I mean, I don't know if
but apparently you have to have a license for it.
But I think you have a nice lot of land. Me, I live like very, very small property, but
it's enough, because one chicken only needs one little square feet. And you can have 6 little chickens. That's one of the things that we teach, is you can have 6 little chickens in a little comfortable coop that you can get from the Tractor Supply or wherever you have one of those little places from, with a little run to it, and they're happy. Long as they're fed and they're well taken care of, those chickens don't care. They don't care. I'm telling you, they don't care. And once they know what your schedule is, like mine, I can open up my door right now and say, hey, you fluff brats, how you doing? Everybody's quacking. Everybody's crowing. Everybody's screaming at me.
Wow. So I only need 6 foot, essentially, a 6 foot coop, and I could raise 6 chickens and have eggs and all that fun stuff.
You can have eggs and you can do all of that stuff. It is so easy to do that. And give me 1 second. Can you give me 1 second?
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm going to show you something.
Okay. Awesome. Excellent. Crissy O is going to get something to show us. I'm excited. We're going to see what it is.
All right, Don. I'm bringing something for you. Give me just a second. My boy's going to go get it. All I had to do was open my back door and wave at him. He's the star of the show, and he loves to look at himself on the camera. So while my son is bringing him in here to me, he accidentally got a girl name.
Oh, this is one of the angry roosters?
No, this is the boss. This is NANA ROO.
NANA ROO.
Rooster ever. He don't even think he's a rooster. I think he thinks he's a dog or something. Let me get
Awesome. We got NANA ROO. I hear NANA ROO. Wow. NANA ROO. That's a good looking. Is that a chicken or a rooster, or how would you describe?
It's a chicken, but it's a rooster. He's a Rhode Island Red, and I have hand raised him from a baby.
Wow, that's a good looking rooster.
He's the friendliest. He's the best boy ever. These are his little waddles, and he has never met a girl or a person that he really didn't like.
Wow, so it's a very friendly Rhode Island rooster, rooster.
Not all roosters are friendly. The only reason I have the Angry Roo pen is to breed out the angry roosters.
Right.
He's the best buddy in the world. He's with me on a lot of pretty much all of them, aren't you, NANA ROO? He talks to me back and forth. He's just the best boy. He's like, wait a minute, I see myself.
He does like to see himself, huh?
He's very.
Hey, NANA ROO.
Can you say hey? It's Don. We like Don. Don's good people, NANA ROO. He might come feed you a handful of mealworms.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
here with me the entire time, but I wanted you to see him, that he's the boss man of
That
the whole chicken yard. And it's really funny because in pecking order, he tells all the other roosters and gives them their jobs, and they do their jobs. And all the hens that will come and preen and peck and pick at him and make sure his feathers are clean and pretty,
wow.
he gets to tell everybody what to do.
So he's the true alpha of the flock.
He is, and he's disabled because he was born with very bad feet.
Ah.
Yep, that's you.
That just goes to show you if you're born with an ailment, you could still be the cock of the roost, right?
You can. And he's like, he weighs 9 pounds. He's heavy as lead, so I'm going to give him back to my son.
Wow. Well, it's such an honor to see Nana Roo on here. This is great. This is the star of the show.
He is. He's a star of the show. Like I said, he loves people. It's very unusual for a rooster not to be like trying to kick and fight, but he's never been like that a day in his life. Nobody wanted him at the Tractor Supply. And when I saw him with his little twisted feet, I said, nope, he's mine. I'll take him. My husband's like, damn it.
So you've had Nana Roo. How long have you had him now?
About 2 years.
Wow. That is fantastic.
Hey, he's going to sleep. Come here and get him.
He's relaxed.
Say bye to Don.
Bye, Nana Roo. This was great. That was awesome.
See how easy it is? Now he's fussing because he doesn't want to go.
Yeah, because he wants to be in your arms. He loves you.
Does. And I'm sorry, Nana Roo.
Now, like, I know you have recipes for fried chicken and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes time to pick which one,
yeah,
do you keep them in separate bins? Like, all right, these are the ones that and these are my babies. Like, is there?
My egg layers will always be egg layers, and they will forever live their life out on the farm. They will have no part of that at all. When they pass, they will be cremated like the rest of them that pass. And we also have the Angry Roo pen. The reason I call it the Angry Roo pen is because every once in a while a farmer will say, hey, my rooster got taken out by a fox or something else. Can I get a rooster from you? I'm like, come and take your pick. Good luck catching it. So we'll give those roosters to whoever wants them, basically for flock protection. Because if you're going to free range or do a big yard open, range where you've got they're fenced in, you still need to have a rooster or a couple of roosters to prevent hawks and owls and things like that to get them, because they're really good for protection over your whole flock. But I do have a pen that is separate for those type. We call them meat birds. So whenever it's time to cull those or thin out the herd, I don't interact with meat birds or Angry Roo pen like I would with
Because you don't want to love them. You don't want to get to know them. Yeah.
You don't name them. You don't do any of that stuff, because there's certain birds that the meat birds, they're not going to, they can live a while, but it's not really healthy for them to do that. And as long as you're humane about what you're doing, we say a little prayer, okay, little chicken,
Right.
You're going into the freezer locker. Thank you, Lord, for this chicken, that kind of thing. And you're humane about it and you're clean about it. And you do it in a respectful way that it's not really going to hurt them, and it's not going to cause them great pain, and it's swift, quick, fast, and all that stuff. Then it's okay. But if it's one of the ones that I've named, oh, Lord, no. Because poor Linda, she died last year. She had cancer. I had to take her to the vet and everything. I'm like, dang, girl, I didn't know chickens got cancer, but my vet says they can. So we had to have her put to sleep.
Wow.
So it's just different situations, but you have to have an understanding and a mindset for it to be able to separate and compartmentalize what you have, because animals don't always live forever. Just like my 120-pound boxer that's coming here drinking. If you hear that noise, he's drinking from his water bowl back here and
Right.
slinging all over me. So if you see stuff, I'm not spitting on you, I promise. It's
I haven't seen anything yet, but yeah, I got you.
But like your dogs don't live long. Animals don't live long for a reason, I think, because
Yeah.
they're not as mean.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, and is there a like how do you know which ones are going to be meat chickens and which ones are going to be egg layers and which ones, are going to be more like you're going to name them and which ones you aren't? Do you know that from like as a chicks?
Breed. I know from the breed. So
Uh,
there's different types of breeds. There's so many breeds of chickens that are out there. And like when we teach things about the different breeds of chickens, like most of the chickens I have, they'll pop out anywhere from 200 to 250 eggs a year.
wow.
And if you've got 50 of them, that's a lot of eggs. Lot to feed your family too, because you can do a lot with those eggs because that's protein. So that
Yeah.
also, so roosters don't lay eggs. I get that question a lot. I'm like, no, they make the babies.
Right.
So,
They're the breeders.
yeah, so I hatch babies all the time, and I show them the process of hatching your own eggs. That is so adorable. And hens will lay eggs. That's just their nature without a rooster. So if you want to just get hens and have eggs, that's great. Just know every year, that they age, that egg production will go down a little bit every year.
Right, right.
I've got old ladies out here on my farm. I call them the little old granny birds. And every once in a blue moon, they'll pop out an egg and they're like, holy cow, I did it.
Like I still got it. That's great. So when you get all these eggs, are you selling to like the farmers markets and things like that, or you keeping them all and just
No, it's local. It's all local people. Like my husband takes them and sells them to people at work. They love them, and I have local people that'll call and say, "Hey, I need 3-4 dozen eggs for an event that we're doing at whatever," or
right, right,
blah blah blah. The duck eggs, I've had several bakers because duck eggs are really big and they're really good to bake with. So my duck eggs, that's where they go. Like a lot
wow.
of people that bake and do a lot of stuff, and I do a lot of baking and things like that too. So I'll use the duck eggs, and that you can't really tell the difference in a duck or a chicken egg. People say you can, but I'm like, okay,
Right.
your palate must be better than mine, or maybe Granny too much moonshine for cough medicine or something. I don't know. I can't tell the difference in it.
Yeah, I don't know if I would be able to either. And if you're baking a cake or something with it, using it as an ingredient, it's all gonna be
Yeah.
mixed in. Like, it's not like you're eating it you could probably, but like it's not like you're eating it with bacon and eggs, and then you could maybe be able to taste a little difference there. But if
Yeah.
it's in an ingredients, I don't know. But what
Yeah.
do
If
I
it is,
know?
yeah, I'm like, it all tastes the same, I don't know, whatever. But people say that they can tell the difference. It's just like me and cilantro. I can't eat cilantro because it tastes like soap. I'm one of the weird ones that has that gene, and I
Right.
can tell. Is there cilantro in this stuff here that you made? I can't do it. I guess some people are sensitive like that, but the cool thing about it is if as long as you got a hen, you're gonna have an egg. And if something happens, that hen more than likely, depending on the breed, is either going to give you an egg every day or every 2 or 3 days. So you'll have some way to feed yourself or some way to feed your family. God forbid some craziness happens again and we're all like, you
Right.
know,
Or
in
the
that.
the price
Yeah.
of the chicken eggs go up again and all that stuff. You never had to worry about that one at all.
No, I still, just because it's just me and I don't, you know, I don't like how people, do this price gouging stuff. And people are like, oh, how much are your eggs? Expecting me to tell them like they're $8 or $10. I'm like, $3 a dozen. What do you think they are? And they're like, $3 a dozen. Oh. I'll take like 6 dozen. I'm like, okay, well, could you like not panic because they're going to keep squirting them out and I'm going to keep washing them and putting them in cartons. So you're good.
That is fantastic. That is great. And again, there was so much that you just taught me on this call today about how to raise chickens, that you could do it only in 6 foot area if you had to. They provide eggs daily. Like there's so many things, and that everyone really should know how to do these things. I think, as we said before, and there's so much to learn. Everyone has to check out Crissy O's Clucky Chronicles. It's on YouTube. I'm going to provide the link in the description of this interview with you, so people click on it, like her, subscribe it, like all her videos. Crissy O is the real deal, and she's amazing. So, Crissy, tell everybody where they could find you and follow you and all that fun stuff.
Well, I'm on YouTube, Crissy O's Clucky Chronicles. So we do all that there, like Don said. And I also have a website, it's ChrissyOShow.com. It's completely different from what you're used to, Don, with all the music and all the stuff I was doing before. So it's a like complete 360 switch up here. But you know, you can find me at ChrissyOShow.com, Crissy O's Clucky Chronicles. And my podcast shows are just there on the website so people can get stuff for free. And I also do like a kids sister channel because I guess it's just me wanting to teach people and wanting to help people and all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, dealing with the whole special needs arena in a more quieter way. I do have free reading things on there that I've created about chickens and ducks and quails and little stuff there. And there's free chicken games on there too. So I've just done stuff that's, you know, for families. You got recipes. There's a downloadable recipe book if you like heart attack food.
I love heart attack food. That's good. Fried and butter. I love it
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
Yeah, bake it, broil it. We do it all, you know, from the rooter to the tutor.
You're the best, Crissy O. Thank you so much for being on DONversations. Everyone, please check her out. Crissy, thank you so much. Crissy O, everybody.
Thank you.